Now that we have our job set up here, we can start to capture this. One of the reasons why we want to assess where all of our targets need to be placed is because we cannot move this machine once we start templating here. It has to stay in this place. If we kick the tripod or anything like that, we are going to have to start over. So one of the best practices I like to use is assessing where I need targets, setting all these up before we capture any plane points with the machine right here. So at this point now, we can add a job here. We're going to click in the top right corner, the add button there. Job reference is typically going to be a number, and then we can use job name right here. We're going to call this our first kitchen, and we hit add right there. Now, once this pops up in our top right corner of our screen right there, we see it's searching for our laser head here. So we could turn our laser on. It's going to find the laser head here. It's going to pop up this little message asking us to connect up. Again, this is extremely important to make sure the 2 dots on our 2D lock are lined up. 2D lock is locked into place. We hit continue right there. The software is automatically going to connect up to our laser here. So now at this point in time, we can unlock our 2D lock here. And now we're going to start on our far left pin target. We're going to aim at the top horizontal line on that block we set up to set our plane. So we're right on that. And then we're going to tap anywhere on the screen to take that shot. Now we're going to come over here to our right. Again, top horizontal line on that block for our right. Now we're going to capture our back point. Again, top horizontal line. Capture that point. Now we're in capture mode in the top right corner of the screen there. We are in line function right here. One thing we're going to want to do here to make sure our laser did not move during the template is we're going to go into cross right here, and we're going to capture a cross at our sync center for our first point. That is going to be our reference point. We're going to shoot the sync center again at the end here. Now, we're going to go back into line mode. So I'm going to capture a line. Now in the top right corner there, it says capture line and has a mode and has continuous right there. We're going to click that drop down. We're going to see auto fillet. I'm a big fan of auto fillet. I love shooting 2 points per finished edge and then automatically filleting all of this together as we create it. So we're going to hit auto fillet right here. I can see up in the top right viewfinder right there that I'm in the cabinet color right now. So I'm going to come over and aim at my back left target that we set up closest to the wall, representing that left edge. I'm going to shoot my first point there. Then we're going to come to the front left target, shoot our second point there. Now we're going to come right down onto the front edge, face frame of that cabinet, shoot 2 points across there, and you're going to see it's automatically going to fillet that corner together for us. Then when we shoot the next 2 points on this angled cabinet here, it fillets that previous corner together. Now for our sink and our stove run here, we're going to shoot 1 point out of that corner. Then we're going to go all the way down to the other side of our stove opening, shoot that point. Now I'm going to change my color into panel because we're going to shoot a panel right here. I'm going to come right up on that panel now, shoot 2 points on that panel. And then we're going to switch now into our wall color. Now up in the top left corner there, we're going to want to change our mode. We click on auto fillet there. Now we're going to want to change this to continuous. Continuous is going to continually draw lines all connected as we scribe across our back wall here. One thing we want to do when we get to the range opening here is we want to shoot all the way across this in order for our range opening function to work properly. And then we're going to scribe our drywall here. Again, depending on what splash you got is how far you're going to want to space these apart. One thing that's extremely important that we want to pay attention to is drywall corners. We know that these tapers, they typically start to float mud about 3 inches out of that corner. So we're going to want to take a point 3 inches out of that corner. Then we're going to want to do what we call drilling the corner. And we're going to aim that laser directly into that corner using reflection to see if we're a little to the right or a little to the left. We should see the laser dot focus on itself when we get right into that corner there. We're going to take that shot. Now we're going to come 3 inches out to the left there, take that shot, which is gathering the data of exactly the angles that guy created when he floated mud into that corner, and exactly how much mud is built up into that corner here. Then we continue on with what we would be doing for our normal scribe, going down our wall there. So once we get to the end here, and as you see there, I was rotating the laser as I was trying to take the shot. It'll pop up that message there telling you that was a bad point. So all I'm going to do now is tap the screen again, take that shot. Now, once we get done scribing our wall here, now we're going to do our stove opening. So one thing we're going to want to do is switch our color into flat polish, because we always flat polish the edges of our stove opening here. Now, on the right-hand sidebar there, we'll see opening. We're going to tap on opening right there. And up in the top left corner of our screen there, it says capture opening mode and width. That's what we're going to use for a standard freestanding range here. We're going to make it 30 inches wide. Right below that, it says step 1 of 2. Select the front edge to base the opening off of. We're going to click on the line on our cabinet line that represents the sink and the stove run in this situation. And now we're going to shoot our T-target that we have set up here. Now this T-target is representing our style in space. Again, we can't physically aim our laser onto the style, which is why we're using the T-target here. So I'm going to shoot right onto the T-target right there with our left point. Then I'm going to aim right onto the style over there for our right point. We shoot that, and we see that opening get created right there. Now, what the software just did is it created that opening based off of the center of this. So it does not matter how wide the cabinets are set here. It's going to make it 30 inches. We also built a safety into this. If the opening is not 30 inches and you're trying to make it 30 inches, it'll flag an error saying, hey, your opening is narrower than what you have it set and what you're trying to create in the software here. It'll flag that for you, okay? So now that we have that opening created there, we're going to come back and mark our sink center here, okay? So on the right-hand sidebar, we hit center line. And now step 1 of marking our center line is to pick the line that represents the sink run here. So we're going to tap on that cabinet edge right there. And now it says, which direction do you want to draw the line on the screen? We always want to go up into the piece. So I'm going to click in the direction that represents into the piece, which is up in my situation here. Now we're going to take the laser and aim at our sink center and take that shot right there. Okay. Now we have captured all the geometry we need from this one location without actually walking away from the laser here. Now, I'm pretty confident that this thing didn't move during this process, but the reason why we shot that cross at the beginning and then came around and shot our center line at the end here is to verify and check that that did not happen. So what we're going to do now is we're going to zoom in here, and you can see those two crosses. They're not exactly on top of each other, but we're going to go to distance here. We're going to click points, and I'm now able to click on those 2 points. That is well within the accuracy of what we're looking at here. We're looking to be within a 1/16 on these 2 points. We can also use best fit. Now that I zoomed into there, one of my favorite buttons in the bottom right corner there is best fit to give us an overall view of this. And then we can also use the rotate button in the bottom right corner there and click on our sink run, and it squares us up to that sink run. So we have a very good orientation of our drawing in relation to what we're looking at in front of us here. Now we just got to fillet a couple of these corners together to then check our raw dimensions here. So we're going to go to fillet on the right hand sidebar. We're going to use sharp corner, sharp fillet for this. And it doesn't matter where you touch on the wall. It's always going to pick the last part of that line of our scribe to fillet into our cabinet edge there. So again, we can pick the wall, back right of our stove to our panel, cabinet edge to our panel. And now we have everything connected here. Under distance, the dimensions, we can toggle this on and toggle this off. It's showing us all those overalls. So now the number 1 most important rule in measuring, measure twice, cut once, right? So now is when we're going to take our tape measure out, and we can walk around here and we can verify all these dimensions on our screen right here. This is perfect using the dimensions. Again, we just tap it to toggle it on, tap it to toggle it off. And then we're going to use things like measure points. So we can click on points here again. And then I could go, say, from the panel to my sink center, and I can verify that dimension there. And I see that's 85 1/8. I could also go off of this inside corner, and I could click on that inside corner and then click on my sink center, and there we are, 53 15/16. We can verify that now. Okay. So this is how we're going to capture this, then verify all our measurements. Now at this point, we can start editing this drawing and create our finished countertop.